What's up, everybody? Wellness Week Live. I am DJ Anthony. It says it right there. It's legit. I'm a real DJ. I'm not kidding. Can't you hear the voice, ladies and gentlemen? Hey. Okay, so today's show. What? There's something on my shirt. Hold on. I feel like I was eating dinner and I think I spilled some shit on my shirt. Son of a bitch. All right, I gotta get a bib. Anywho, okay, what's up, everybody? So today's show is about homelessness and the cause of homelessness. Now, you may say to yourself, "Hey, what the hell does that have to do with wellness and working out and getting big arms and getting the guns out for the summertime? You know, how does that? What are we talking about? What does that have to do with anything?" Well, homelessness does have to do with health and wellness because if you're not healthy and well, that's a problem, right? And that leads to homelessness because the people who are homeless are not at their best. And you may say, I don't give a shit. What does that have to do with me? Well, yeah, I mean, if you live in a secluded area or you're some billionaire and you detach from reality, yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with you. But if you're like the rest of America, yeah, I mean, homeless people, they're all around us. I mean, I see it all the time. And that affects us because we live in these communities. And depending on where you live, it is literally your problem because you have homeless defecating in the streets, spreading disease to you, so it's your problem. I mean, if you're in those areas like parts of San Fran, parts of Philadelphia, parts of New York, parts of Miami, again, if you're, some hoity-toity king or queen and you're detached, then I guess, yeah, don't have to watch the show, forget about it. But if you're someone who gives a shit about other fellow humans, you may want to pay attention. And so it is our problem if you, again, and it's easy to point the finger and say, it's the government got to do all these lazy bums. Yeah, yeah. It's easy to point fingers and, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I gonna do? Again, easy to be jaded, easy to point fingers. But if you want to be your best self, um, you know, you, I think we're judged on how well we help the least of our family, the least of our citizens, the least of our neighbors. It's easy to kiss ass to a billionaire or some rich athlete or a rock star. But yeah, I'm not advocating you become Mother Teresa. But okay, let's talk about what are the causes of homelessness actually. So first and foremost, you know, believe it or not, hold your ears. You're not going to want to hear this. Most, overwhelmingly, most homeless people have jobs. Believe it or not, they work. They work hard. They work 2 or 3 jobs. Yes. So most homeless people have jobs. The number one reason for homelessness is lack of affordable housing. It's not that the homeless, again, yes, there are lazy bum homeless people, but overwhelmingly most homeless people are they're hardworking, good people that work 2, 3, 4 jobs, but they just can't find affordable housing. It's that simple. So they do, couch surfing. They'll stay with a friend here, and then they go for a couple days over there. Then they go to a homeless shelter. Then they go to a motel. Then they'll live in the car. Then back to the homeless shelter. They might live on the street if it's warm enough during the seasonal time. So, but they're working. They're not evil. They're not bad. They're not dirty. These are most homeless people. It's lack of affordable housing. Period. And it's scary because again, a lot of these people they work a lot of hours, and they work in their fast food and their warehouses, and things like that. So that's the number one reason for homelessness. So before you're quick to judge, and I'm guilty, by the way. I used to judge homeless people when I was younger. I thought, hey, they're just fucking lazy bums. You fucking bum. Hey, they can work. They can work. Hey, they don't want to work. And they're a bum. They're bad. They're evil. They're bad. They're dirty. They're dumb bum. But that's not. The majority of homeless are good, smart, hard work, and they're working. That's the scary part. Like, these people are working. They're not lazy. They're probably working harder than you. So that's number one reason. Now the other reasons, in no particular order, is mental health. So it's beyond their control. They have mental diseases of some sort, and they can't get it together. That's not their fault. They need help. And again, if we marginalize them and don't help them, and I'm saying as a society, I am saying you and me, and I'm not saying we all have to, I'm not saying go out there in the street and start picking up homeless people and, taking care of them like they're your baby. I'm not saying that, but there are things we can do, and we'll get into that later. But the mental health. The other problem which ties into mental health is drug abuse. A lot not most, but there are a lot of homeless people who are drug addicts. And I know you're probably thinking, fuck that. Wait for it. They're doing drugs. It's a choice. It's a choice. Hey, oh. Yeah, like, and you're perfect, right? You're the fucking, you're the perfect one that you don't make mistakes and, nothing, right? Okay. All right. So got that. Um, yeah, they're drug addicts. Listen, I know of or have known drug addicts, and it's, you know, before they started drugs, it was a choice. But once you do the first drug, including alcohol, and some people just, you're making a deal with the devil. Now you're not in control anymore. Now it's a disease, So, anyways, but you're perfect, so there's no problem there. But for the rest of the humanity, yeah, I mean, people make bad choices, and so that's another reason why people are homeless. The other one is abuse, actually, believe it or not. Overwhelmingly, women, they're in an abusive relationship and they don't have a trade or a skill. They can't just, they run away from the abusive relationship, which is great, but now they don't have a place to stay because it's not like they have a 50 million in the bank, or it's not like they have some highly marketable skill where they're going to be like, well, I'll just take my brain surgery practice somewhere else. Like, these are young women who might have been dependent on, their partner or the man in their life. They escape the dangerous relationship, but now they have nowhere to go. Or again, they hop from homeless shelter to homeless shelter or couch surf or, so they don't have a home of their own, and so abuse is another reason for homelessness. The other one, which kind of shocked me, and it's sad, is military veterans. Believe it or not, a lot of military veterans are homeless. What are you going to say about that now? These are men and women who have served our country nobly, with nobility and sacrificed for our country, and now they're homeless. I'm not saying all vets, obviously, but there are vets. There are thousands and thousands of homeless vets. Think about that. What are we going to do about that? It's a goddamn shame that these men and women are homeless. There should not be not one homeless vet. And these vets are homeless for the reasons I just said above: mental health. Unfortunately, some of them picked up drug habits. You know, they're working many jobs, but they can't find affordable housing. And these are Marines, these are Navy, these are Air Force, these are Army, these are Coast Guard, and we don't give a shit about them. Nice, that's great. Thanks for your service. A lot of platitudes, but you know, they should have housing. Period. End of discussion. They should never have. They should never ever have to be homeless. A vet, but they're out there in the thousands. Incarceration. You have men usually, but men and women. They paid their debt to society, and no, they're not axe murderers. They're not even violent. Most of these formerly incarcerated people. Believe it or not, most people in prison, they're not in prison because of violent crimes. They're not in prison because they hurt somebody. They're in prison because they got caught with drugs or they did they embezzled funds. But they're not violent, evil people. They made bad choices. They deserve to be punished. They paid their punishment, but now they can't find a job. So they're getting punished again and 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 again. That's just not right. They did their time. Again, if you're a murderer or you're hurting women or children, hey, stay in jail for life. You know what I mean? See ya. But most people who are incarcerated and get out of prison, because most do, they're not evil, bad people. They made bad choices. And so they get out in the street and nobody wants to hire them, you know? So they're not mentally ill. They're not even doing drugs. Nobody wants to hire a felon, or very few places. It's getting a little bit better out there, but so these men, usually men, some women, they have nowhere to go. And you could say, I want to go with their family. Yeah, go back. Yeah. Why don't you go with your family? How's your family doing? Like, you're the fucking perfect one. You got a perfect family. Stop. It's easy to talk that shit. But, again, and you know what? Some formerly incarcerated do go to their family. Some vets do go back to their family. Some drug addicts do go back. And some mentally ill do go back to their families and have a home. But many don't. Hence why they're homeless. Okay, so the other one and the last one, and again, no particular order. This one's scary because this can happen to any of us. Is medical, meaning you have health insurance, but you get into a situation where the bills just keep on piling up and your deductibles get higher and higher because you keep on piling up from whatever disease or catastrophe. You did nothing wrong. You just got the shit end of the stick. Bad luck happened. And now you're homeless because you're in debt and in debt and in debt and in debt. And again, you're a hard worker. You have health insurance. Not like you don't have it, but you have deductibles. And, you know, the deductibles are usually per case, per situation. So if you break one leg, there's a deductible on that. But if you break the other leg, a month later, there's a separate deductible on that. So medical is another reason for people being homeless. It just drains people where they do have savings and they do have emergency funds, but then they exhaust that. And so by the grace of God, like, okay, you haven't been in that spot. Neither have I. And then we've all had medical problems, but sometimes in life things get so overmounting that our country's not set up to have that kind of safety net. So it's fuck you time. Like I said, the veterans. Thanks for your service. Hey, fuck you. Go be homeless. That's what it is. So yeah, I mean, so these are the reasons, and it sucks. So what can we do? Enough, cursing the darkness. So on face value, again, the first thing is I'm not saying that again you have to go run outside and be Mother Teresa tomorrow, and you see a bum and you hold them and sing to them and spoon feed them. I'm not saying that, but what we can do immediately is, well, number one, I would say don't be a jaded asshole, because you hear people say, like, well, what can one person do? Yeah, what can one person do? Give them a sandwich. What is that? Well, that's a lot, asshole. Better than talking shit and don't judge. Yeah, give them a sandwich. Hey, they're gonna throw it out. You were that much of a jaded prick. Again, thank God you're perfect. So yeah, buy them a sandwich if you feel comfortable doing that. And I've bought many homeless people sandwiches just randomly. And I'm not saying, look at me, I'm great. I'm just sharing with you. So and they appreciate it. Again, if you feel safe to do so, and again, most homeless are not dangerous, but again, you got to feel comfortable doing that. So what I have done in the past, and I'll do it in the future, I'll be like, oh, excuse me, can I get you something to drink, or can I get you a sandwich? And they'll be like, no, I'm good. Or, oh, can I have money? I'm like, I don't have money, but I can get you a sandwich. All right, cool. So I get him a sandwich, or her a sandwich. Usually it's to him. That's immediate stuff, what we can do. The other thing is, like, we can go to our churches, our mosques, our synagogues. If you are a religious person, I am. No one's asking you to be Mother Teresa again, but if you're affiliated, or even if you just roll into a regular church or synagogue or mosque, just ask, call them up. Hey, you guys take food or donations? Or like, you can donate. You can also get involved. I know my church gets involved with a lot of helping with homeless and helping with poor. And most churches and synagogues and mosques, in temples do that. So you can call your local house of worship and ask if you can drop off clothing. There's clothing bins everywhere too. You can get involved directly with your house of worship or community center and do soup kitchen stuff and whatnot. Again, yes, our government can do a lot, but our government is we the people, is us. The government can only do so much, and we can do our small part. Again, you ever hear the story about the two guys walking on a beach, and there's these hundreds of starfish that washed up, and starfish need to be in the water, not on the beach. So the one guy, the one friend is picking up a starfish and throwing him in the water, picking up a starfish, throwing him in the water, picking up a starfish, throwing him in the water. And his friend goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going to save the starfish, And his friend laughs. He's like, "Dude, there's hundreds of starfish here. You can't make a difference." So his friend picks up that starfish and goes, "Yeah, I can't make a difference to all of them, but I can make all the difference in the world to this starfish I'm holding right now," and tosses that starfish back in the ocean to live. So my point is, we can make a big difference in our own little way, in our own little circle. And I think that's what we're all called to do. So you can't abdicate and wash your hands of any kind of responsibility. You are responsible for this homeless problem. So am I, in a 1% way. You know what I'm saying? The government's got to do the majority of the lifting, of course, and institutions. But if we know we can do something like donate clothes, donate food, donate time, donate money, we can search those places, like I just said, churches and community centers. And so we are called to do that. I got money. I'm struggling myself. But yeah, you get your money. But I'm sorry, how many shoes do you have? You have the latest cell phone? Do you binge watch stuff? Yeah, I'm sorry. You hang out with the boys, hang out with the girls. You got money for alcohol. You got money for cigarettes. You got money for junk food. you got money to peel off a dollar or two to donate, or a used shirt you don't want to have anymore, or whatever, pair of socks. You can do that. Cut the shit. So these are the things we can do. You can also contact your local mayor, council, senator, uh, governors. You can call, and say, hey, what can I do? Or what are you doing, like to help this problem, in our community, in our town. Now, you're not going to change the world with a phone call to a senator. But again, life's a game of millimeters, not miles. So every little bit, every little bit, every little bit. And again, I'm not saying quit your job and become a homeless advocate, but again, we are called to, help others. I think all of us are in our own way, in our own increment. So the other thing I would say is help your own family. These homeless people have families, and if you can, I mean, obviously, if the person's so far gone and it's above what you can handle, then, you can't help. But I suspect most of us can, you know, give a few dollars or open our doors or, you know, do something, put them up maybe in a hotel for a couple days. I'm not saying they have to live with you, but it shouldn't have to be, well, you can't live with me, so fuck you. Okay, but there's a lot of other steps in between that you could help. I mean, take them out for lunch, buy them some clothing, like maybe advocate for them, try to find them housing, so there's different things that we all can do. And it's easy to wash our hands and just say it's not our problem. It is our problem, right? This is the town, the state, the city, the country we live in. And, you know, um, how we treat others is what goes around comes around. And I'm not saying that you're going to be homeless, or I'm not saying I'm going to be homeless. Maybe we will, probably won't. But again, when you plant those seeds of compassion and empathy, that comes back to you somehow, I believe. And you reap the seeds you sow. If you're about compassion, and you could be tough. No one's saying be a wimp. You could, but you can be assertive and you can be tough, but you can have an empathetic heart. And when you have that, that's the vibe you put out there, and that's how people will treat you. But if you're a jaded asshole who only cares about yourself, well, don't be surprised that your life is so tough and miserable too. So uh, the vibe you put out there is what you're going to get back. So it's important. And I think, like I said, I see a lot of this on the news, and I hear it, and I've seen it. I've been to Philadelphia, I've been to South Philly, East Philly, West Philly, and it broke my heart. And I said to myself, wow, this is America, huh? Yeah, America's great if you got your yacht and your Ferrari, but I say, you know, greatness is, you can judge how great a community is. You can judge how great a country is by how well we treat the least of us. Because it's easy to treat a billionaire fun. And it's easy to treat a billionaire fine. It's easy to treat a billionaire rich person with respect and dignity. That's easy. It's easy to treat the hot guy or hot girl great. Easy. But try thinking of somebody who's down and out, homeless, dirty, maybe, doesn't look like us. How you treat that person, that determines how great you are, not how well you treat the famous athlete. Anybody can treat that person great. That's an easy lift, bro. So yeah, you are responsible. I am responsible for this stuff to the best of our ability. Again, I'm not saying quit our jobs, but I am saying peel off a few dollars, peel off a few things of clothes, like help, donate some clothing, donate some time in a soup kitchen, something, because we all are responsible in a minute way for this stuff. And it's easy to point the finger at the government. It's easy to point the finger at the homeless people. And yeah, and by the way, I'm sure there's some homeless people out there who are just lazy old bums. I'm sure there are out there, but that's not most. That's not most. Most of what I just said. The vets, hardworking people who just can't afford, affordable housing. People who are mentally ill, who didn't choose to be mentally ill. You know what I mean? So, drug addicts who made bad choices. None of us are perfect. So my point is, most homeless are not lazy bums. And again, I understand, someone who's a lazy bum, but 99.9% of homeless people have a damn good reason why they're homeless. You know what I mean? And we have to have compassion and empathy. And I can only hope people will have compassion and empathy on me when I'm down and out for whatever it may be. And again, not that I'm going to be homeless, but we reap the seeds we sow. And anyways, so there's a lot we can do, folks, and it has to do and it help. It's about us too. It's about our health and wellness because we're all interlinked. We don't live in a vacuum. So, anyways, America is a great country. We're blessed to be in this country, and you and I, have to. We have America is a great country, but we're not perfect. We have a lot of work to do, and we the people, can do it. And yes, again, the governments are responsible, but we have a lot we can do, and we have to look in the mirror. So I have to look in the mirror myself. So, anyways, blah blah blah. All right, folks, that was a chipper, chipper segment. But you know what? I also believe the best is yet to come. So that's it. Thanks, everybody. I'm out of here. DJ Tony. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.